The story of Thutmose II begins as one of the greatest mysteries in ancient Egyptian history. He was a king whose name faded from memory, his tomb long lost to the sands. Unlike the grand rulers before and after him, his reign is cloaked in silence. Thutmose II ruled during the powerful 18th dynasty, yet little remains of his legacy. The question that haunts historians is simple but profound. How could a pharaoh be so thoroughly erased from history? Unlike the famous Tutankhamun and Ramesses, known for their magnificent tombs and lasting legacies, Thutmose II is barely remembered. His monuments are few, his inscriptions sparse, and for centuries, his burial place remained undiscovered. This absence is striking given the importance of his dynasty. The 18th dynasty marked the height of Egypt's power, yet Thutmose II seems lost in its shadow. What caused this erasure, and what does that tell us about the politics and power struggles of his time? Recent archaeological discoveries offer new clues. His tomb, found in a remote section of the Valley of the Kings, lacks the grandeur expected of a pharaoh. It shows signs of damage from flooding, and evidence suggests it might have been deliberately emptied. This discovery challenges long-held assumptions and raises new questions. Was this modest tomb a statement of political defeat? Or was there a deeper reason behind the apparent neglect? Thutmose II's reign was marked by military campaigns aimed at securing Egypt's borders. Though less celebrated than his successors, his efforts helped stabilize the kingdom during a turbulent period. Yet his personal story is overshadowed by the rise of his wife, Hatshepsut, who later became one of Egypt's most famous and powerful female rulers. Their relationship was complex, with power and ambition entwined, possibly contributing to the marginalization of Thutmose II in historical records. The political landscape of the time was fraught with tension. As Hatshepsut gained influence, it is believed that a deliberate campaign sought to erase Thutmose II's memory. His name was chiseled from monuments, and records of his reign were altered or destroyed. This phenomenon, known as damnatio memoriae, was rare but not unheard of in ancient Egypt, and its application to Thutmose II suggests significant political strife. His tomb's location in the less prominent Western Valley adds another layer of intrigue. While other pharaohs were buried in grand tombs deep in the main valley, his resting place is comparatively modest and hidden. The reasons for this remain unclear but may reflect his diminished status or deliberate sidelining after his death. The tomb itself, although damaged, reveals much about burial practices and the political climate of the time. Questions surrounding the relocation of his remains persist. Flooding evidence indicates natural disasters played a role, but the intentional removal of his burial goods implies human intervention. Where are the original treasures and the body of Thutmose II? Could they have been hidden to protect them from desecration, or were they moved as part of a political rewriting of history? This story is more than an archaeological discovery. It is a tale of power, memory, and identity. The erasure of Thutmose II's legacy reflects the fierce struggles for control within the royal family and the complexities of ancient Egyptian politics. Understanding his life and death requires piecing together fragments left behind by those who sought to rewrite history. The emerging picture is one of conflict and survival, of a pharaoh whose memory was almost obliterated, yet whose impact shaped an era. The story of Thutmose II challenges us to look beyond the well-known narratives of Egyptian history and to consider the voices lost or silenced. It reveals how history is shaped by those who hold power, often at the expense of truth. Exploring the life and tomb of Thutmose II opens a window into ancient Egypt, Golden Age, full of intrigue, ambition, and mystery. His story invites us to question how history is recorded and remembered. It reminds us that beneath the grandeur of ancient monuments lie hidden tales of struggle and survival, waiting to be uncovered by persistent inquiry. The discovery of Thutmose II's tomb is a significant step toward restoring his place in history. Each artifact, each inscription, brings us closer to understanding the man behind the silence. It offers a chance to rediscover a lost king and to reveal the complexities of an ancient world that continues to fascinate and surprise. Continuing this exploration, we move deeper into the 2025 discovery that changed everything. Technological advances have unlocked secrets once hidden beneath layers of sand and time. The search for Thutmose II's true legacy continues, revealing as much about modern archaeology as about the ancient past. This is the beginning of a story that will unfold over many chapters, each revealing new layers of mystery and insight. The tomb of Thutmose II, once lost, now stands as a testament to the enduring quest for knowledge and the relentless human desire to connect with history. There, new evidence awaits, promising to reshape our understanding of an ancient pharaoh who nearly vanished from time. Archaeological explorations in recent years have led to one of the most extraordinary discoveries concerning Thutmose II, the identification and excavation of his long-lost tomb, a find hailed as the most significant royal burial uncovered in Egypt since Tutankhamun in 1922. The tomb lies in the Thebes region, specifically to the west of Luxor, near the famous Valley of the Kings, but tucked away in a less prominent spot, designated in excavation documents as Wadi C4. Initially, when the entrance was unearthed in 2022, archaeologists assumed it belonged to one of the royal women connected to Thutmose III. However, subsequent investigation revealed unmistakable signs linking it directly to Thutmose II himself. This discovery is momentous because, until now, no funerary items definitively associated with Thutmose III had ever been found or exhibited in museums worldwide. Among the artifacts retrieved from the tomb are alabaster jars inscribed with his name, and delicate fragments bearing the names of his primary wife and half-sister, Queen Hatshepsut. These finds not only confirmed the tomb's ownership, but also illuminated the close relationship and political intertwining between Thutmose II and Hatshepsut, who played a critical role in overseeing the king's burial and whose own historic reign remains one of Egypt's most fascinating chapters. The tomb itself, however, presents many puzzles. It is located in an atypical area beneath two natural waterfalls, and its structure was heavily compromised by flooding, a natural disaster that took place in the wetter climate of the 18th dynasty. The main corridor, once blocked and filled with hard debris similar to concrete, suggested aggressive water intrusion that severely damaged the tomb's ceilings and walls. Such flooding likely forced ancient priests to relocate many original artifacts and precious items from the tomb to more secure locations, possibly explaining why the tomb appears to lack the wealth and grandeur typical of royal burials. Despite these damages, the archaeological team succeeded in restoring fallen plaster fragments that revealed priceless details. Sections of the tomb bear vivid blue ceilings decorated with yellow stars, symbolizing the night sky in ancient Egyptian belief, and reflecting the funerary texts of the Amduat, which depicted the king's journey through the underworld. This sacred iconography emphasizes the spiritual significance of the tomb and its deep connection to Egyptian cosmology and royal ritual. Notably, unlike other royal tombs, there is no clear evidence that this tomb was ever plundered. Unlike typical cases where robbers ripped apart mummies seeking jewelry and amulets, the tomb of Thutmose II appears to have remained remarkably intact mid-century, which poses questions about the whereabouts of many valuable funerary objects, suggesting that priests may have preemptively moved such treasures to protect them. Archaeologist Piers Litherland, who led the excavation, has expressed a strong belief that a secondary, perhaps untouched tomb containing the king's funerary goods may yet be found nearby. This secondary tomb theory gains credence when considering the fate of Thutmose II's mummy. Historical records state that his mummy was discovered in the late 19th century, lying amid royal caches that contained other kings' remains, relocated during periods of tomb robberies and unrest. These caches, known as the Deir el-Bahri Cachet, indicate a history of reburial and potential tampering with original royal interments. The stripping of precious materials from the coffins and burial items in these caches was a common practice as Egypt's rulers sought to reclaim wealth during turbulent times, making it likely that Thutmose II's original burial treasures were lost or displaced long ago. The layout of the tomb and the unusual upward-sloping second corridor that intersects the burial chamber formed an emergency exit, designed likely after parts of the tomb were flooded and the original entrance blocked. This architectural adaptation underscores the challenges faced even in antiquity to preserve the tomb and its sacred contents. The fact that the tomb was found sealed since the Third Intermediate Period adds to its historical significance, indicating it had remained undisturbed for centuries despite natural calamities. The unearthed artifacts deepen understanding of Thutmose II's reign and offer fresh insight into the funerary practices and political circumstances of the time. These finds reveal not only a close bond between the king and queen Hatshepsut, but hint at the power struggles and complex family dynamics that shaped the late 18th dynasty. It is now clear that Hatshepsut's role was pivotal during and after Thutmose II's life, from overseeing his burial to eventually assuming power herself, thus explaining some of the efforts to marginalize his legacy later. What emerges from this discovery is a picture of a tomb caught between natural forces and human intervention, a silent witness to political upheaval and shifting dynastic fortunes. While flooding damaged the physical site, leading to loss and relocation of many goods, deliberate historical alterations to Thutmose II's memory suggest that history itself was shaped as forcefully as the landscape. These discoveries challenge the previous assumptions and create new frameworks to understand royal burial traditions, legacy preservation, and historical memory in ancient Egypt. The continued exploration of this tomb, alongside the hunt for the theorized secondary burial site, holds immense promise. Advances in archaeological technology, including ground-penetrating radar and 3D scanning, now allow researchers to peer beneath layers of debris without further damaging fragile sites. These tools not only enhance excavation precision, but also provide the chance to uncover hidden chambers and artifacts that might clarify the full story of Thutmose II's final resting place and reign. Collaborations between Egyptian and British archaeologists exemplify the modern spirit of shared knowledge and scientific rigor, building on 12 years of joint efforts to map the Western Theban necropolis comprehensively. Such partnerships are crucial to unlocking more secrets from this tomb and the surrounding area, as they bring together diverse expertise and resources that propel the field forward. Each artifact and fragment unearthed tells a story, connecting us to a time when kings and queens shaped the destiny of one of history's most remarkable civilizations. By piecing together these discoveries, scholars reconstruct not merely a royal tomb, but a narrative of survival, reverence, and repositioning within a complex political landscape. This narrative recognizes Thutmose II as a pharaoh whose memory was contested, whose physical resting place endured natural calamity, and whose legacy survived through cryptic clues and relentless scholarly pursuit. These efforts open new discussions on how ancient societies managed death, remembrance, and power legitimacy, especially when faced with internal discord and external threats. They also invite us to reconsider the stories etched into Egyptian history and the ways monuments and tombs serve as battlegrounds for political narratives. As the investigation moves forward, ongoing research promises to clarify unanswered questions about the tomb's contents, the precise circumstances of Thutmose II's burial, and the dynamics of his era. This discovery thus not only rewrites parts of Egyptology, but also invigorates a broader understanding of how history is written, revised, and remembered through the artifacts left behind. The story of Thutmose II's tomb stands as a cornerstone in unraveling the 18th dynasty's complex history. It exemplifies how archaeology connects us to the human struggles of the past struggles for memory, power, and identity that resonate even today. The journey continues, driven by a desire to illuminate forgotten chapters and to uncover the truths buried beneath centuries of sand and silence. The discovery of Thutmose II's tomb in early 2025 marked a pivotal moment in Egyptology, reconnecting us with a shadowed chapter of ancient history. Located in a lesser-known part of the Theban necropolis, the tomb's initial excavation revealed a structure that was surprisingly intact considering its age and location. The first artifacts uncovered were fragments of alabaster vessels inscribed with Thutmose II's name, along with inscriptions mentioning his wife, Queen Hatshepsut, confirming the tomb's royal identity. These inscriptions are crucial as they provide the earliest direct evidence linking the site to the pharaoh, a key step in unraveling the mysteries that had long eluded archaeologists. The structure itself was built under a natural waterfall, a strategic decision to offer divine protection, but also a natural hazard that contributed to its deterioration over centuries. Floodwaters had infiltrated the tomb, causing significant damage to the ceilings and walls, which explains the sparse decoration and the absence of lavish burial items that typically accompany royal tombs. Instead, the chamber was filled with debris-broken pottery, fragmented alabaster, and traces of mud testimony to the powerful forces of nature that had reshaped Egypt as sacred ground. The flood damage also led to a poignant realization: Thutmose II's original burial goods had likely been removed or relocated by ancient priests in a bid to protect them from catastrophe, and possibly to protect his remains from theft or desecration. Despite the degradation, major breakthroughs came from the meticulous analysis of the artifacts. Modern technology, including high-resolution imaging and spectroscopy, revealed details about the craftsmanship, trade networks, and cultural influences during Thutmose II's reign. For instance, fragments of the alabaster vessels displayed intricate carvings and inscriptions indicating that the materials used were imported from regions far south of Egypt, illustrating the extensive trade connections of the 18th dynasty and the high status of the king. The vessel's quality pointed to a highly skilled workforce and sophisticated artistry, emphasizing Thutmose II's importance as a ruler whose influence extended across territories. Uncovering evidence of the tomb's original layout proved just as revealing. The corridor leading into the burial chamber was deliberately reinforced and, at some points, built at an upward angle, a design feature not commonly seen in other royal tombs. This structural nuance suggests that in antiquity, there was an effort to safeguard the burial, possibly due to fears of flooding or tomb robbers. The fact that the tomb was never looted, as evidenced by the absence of typical theft signs, scattered jewelry, broken amulets, and defaced statues, was shocking. Instead, the contents were presumably moved long ago, possibly to a hidden secondary tomb, a theory supported by the discovery of scattered funerary objects. This led archaeologists to suspect that Thutmose II's most valuable treasures and his mummy might still be hidden elsewhere, waiting to be found. The arduous process of excavation uncovered more than just structural details. It gave insights into the ritual practices and religious beliefs of the time. The ceiling remnants, painted with star symbols, represented the celestial realm, guiding the king's soul through the afterlife, according to Egyptian cosmology. These images, along with the hieroglyphs and pyramid texts found on the walls, reveal a ritual focus on eternal life and divine kinship, reinforcing the idea that Thutmose II's tomb was designed to secure his journey to eternity intact. Yet, the absence of his coffin or mummified remains prompted intense speculation. Was the mummy deliberately moved? Or was it lost amidst the upheavals of history, perhaps hidden in a secret chamber or smuggled away during ancient times? Further investigations have suggested that the tomb's history might be even more complex. Archaeologists discovered traces of ancient reburial activities, a common practice when tombs were damaged or looted, implying that Thutmose II's body and treasures had been intermittently moved over centuries. The presence of broken funerary objects, notably alabaster jars with inscriptions of Hatshepsut, hints at a coordinated effort to protect the royal lineage from political upheaval or upheavals caused by floods and environmental changes. The theory of a secondary burial site, possibly located nearby in the same valley, has gained traction, asserting that the final resting place of Thutmose II and his most valuable artifacts remains undiscovered. The significance of this find extends beyond the mere identification of a lost tomb. It opens a new chapter in understanding the political and religious climate of Egypt during the late 18th dynasty. The fact that the tomb was concealed and spared from plunder suggests that during the subsequent centuries, Thutmose II's influence or memory was intentionally suppressed, possibly due to conflicts over succession, the rise of rival factions, or religious reforms. This manipulation of memory, intertwined with natural destruction, paints a portrait of political intrigue that reshaped the royal narrative, distorting the legacy of a king once praised as a protector of Egypt's peace and prosperity. The ongoing exploration aims to locate any hidden chambers or undiscovered burial deposits within the vicinity. State-of-the-art ground-penetrating radar and 3D imaging systems have been employed to scan beneath the surface without disturbing the fragile structure. These technological advances dramatically increase the chances of finding intact burial chambers, a quest driven by the hope of finally unearthing Thutmose II's mummy, artifacts, and perhaps the original funerary furniture. The researchers are also analyzing the soil and sediment deposits to reconstruct the environmental conditions that affected the tomb, providing context on how floodwaters and climate variations impacted ancient burial practices. This complex effort reflects the enduring fascination with Egypt's forgotten kings, whose stories continue to influence modern perceptions of ancient civilization. The discovery of Thutmose II's tomb is the culmination of decades of archaeological dedication, combining traditional excavation techniques with cutting-edge technology. It is also a tribute to the resilience of history, how fragments of the past can resurface after centuries of darkness, revealing pieces of a puzzle that reconnects us to a civilization that defined human achievement. As the investigations unfold, the archaeological team remains cautious yet optimistic. The hope is to find additional chambers, coffins, or even sealed sarcophagi that could prove the true extent of the tomb complex. Each fragment, inscription, and artifact will be meticulously documented, analyzed, and preserved for future study. This process involves not just uncovering objects, but also interpreting symbols and texts to reconstruct the religious and political life of Thutmose II. The ultimate goal is to restore his memory, to piece his story back into the grand tapestry of Egyptian history. In the broader context, this discovery challenges long-held assumptions about royal burial practices, environmental impacts, and the political motives behind tomb construction. It questions how much history has been lost or altered by natural forces and human intervention. The complex interplay of these elements reveals a civilization that was both sophisticated and fragile, capable of magnificent achievements and brutal political repression. This ongoing exploration stands as a testament to human curiosity and determination. It demonstrates that modern science and ancient mystery can work hand in hand to unearth truths hidden for millennia. The story of Thutmose II is far from complete, yet each new find brings us closer to understanding his reign, a reign that, until now, was shrouded in silence, waiting patiently beneath the desert sands to tell its story once more. Building seamlessly from previous discoveries and insights, the excavation of Thutmose II's tomb has moved deeper into revealing the intimate details of royal burial practices and the intricate political landscape of ancient Egypt. The tomb, while modest compared to other grand royal mausoleums, continues to demonstrate a remarkable endurance against time. yet also bears stark testimony to the challenges it faced, both natural and man-made. The discovery reflects the diligent efforts of a dedicated Egyptian-British archaeological team whose work since 2022 has uncovered not only the physical remnants of the tomb, but also uncovered traces of the sophisticated funerary rituals surrounding Thutmose II. This royal tomb, designated as Wadi C4, lies conveniently close to the grander interments of his contemporaries and successors, yet stands apart in its subtlety, a physical manifestation of the complexities shadowing his reign and legacy. One significant feature of the tomb is its architecture, unusual among its contemporaries. The design includes a second corridor with an upward slope intersecting the burial chamber at a height above the floor, significantly differing from other tomb corridors that classically descend into the earth. This architectural detail suggests an adaptive solution potentially to provide an emergency exit after ancient flooding events compromised the main passage. Such a feature offers a rare glimpse into how ancient builders contended with unexpected natural disasters that threatened their sacred constructions. Though the tomb endured significant damage from repeated floodwaters that have hardened debris within the main axis to a concrete-like substance, these harsh conditions paradoxically helped preserve certain details. The restoration of portions of the plaster ceiling revealed iconic starry sky motifs, an enduring symbol in Egyptian funerary art, signifying the heavens and the eternal journey of the soul. Fragments of the Amduat, a key funerary text detailing the sun god Ra-'s nightly voyage through the underworld, were also recovered. These elements underscore the religious import of the tomb and affirms that despite the physical damage, the creators intended the site to serve as an effective gateway for the king's transition to the afterlife. The artifacts found thus far provide further layers to understanding the king's burial and historical context. Alabaster jars inscribed with both Thutmose II's and Hatshepsut's names have proven invaluable not only in affirming tomb ownership, but also in depicting the intertwined fates of the king and his queen. The presence of Hatshepsut's name in a funerary context is significant, reflecting her crucial role in the king's burial, which subsequent historical narratives often obscure or reinterpret. The absence of some key burial items such as canopic jars, a sarcophagus, and shabtis strongly suggests intentional removal or loss over political turmoil and environmental damage. The likelihood that priests relocated valuable funerary goods to preserve them, possibly into a secondary tomb or hidden cache, leads to ongoing searches for these missing elements. The story of Thutmose II's mummy itself is equally fascinating, with its discovery centuries ago in the royal cachette known as DB 320, where it was moved during periods of instability to protect royal remains from tomb robbers. While comprehensive excavation and technical analysis continue, the team benefits from cutting-edge technology like ground-penetrating radar and 3D laser scanning. These tools allow researchers to peer below the surface, revealing voids and cavities that may represent hidden rooms or tomb extensions yet unexplored. It is hoped that these investigations will uncover the anticipated secondary tomb or additional burial chambers, which may hold the key to restoring the full splendor of the king's interment. Beyond the physical, the archaeological work casts new light on the political dynamics of the period. The fact that the tomb appears to have remained sealed for centuries, yet later suffered damage and partial abandonment, hints at changing attitudes toward Thutmose II's memory. With Queen Hatshepsut's rise to power as a female pharaoh, narratives surrounding the king may have been deliberately revised, minimizing his historical presence to strengthen her own claim. The phenomenon of damnatio memoriae, the formal erasure of one's memory from monuments and texts, is central to this reassessment. The tomb stands as a silent witness to these power struggles, where memory, history, and ideology collide. Each fragmentary inscription and architectural nuance can be read as part of this grand narrative of political competition, family rivalry, and religious authority. As more is uncovered, it becomes clear that Thutmose II's story is inseparable from that of his queen and the shifting landscape of Egyptian royal politics in the 18th Dynasty's later years. This discovery also highlights the broader challenges faced by Egyptologists when piecing together ancient histories clouded by lost or edited records. It exemplifies how archaeology breathes life into forgotten kings, contextualizing their deeds and downfalls in a way textual evidence alone cannot. Understanding the tomb, its contents, and its historical context reshapes our understanding of this complex period, revealing a civilization adept at adapting to both natural crises and internal strife. As excavation proceeds, the research team remains vigilant in preserving the site's delicate balance. Conservation efforts focus on stabilizing fragile wall fragments and preventing further water damage, ensuring that future generations can study this unique site. Specialists in funerary art, ancient Egyptian religion, and political history collaborate closely to interpret findings within the broader framework of New Kingdom Egypt. The tomb of Thutmose II is more than a burial site. It is a repository of secrets and symbols, a literal and metaphorical foundation upon which new narratives of ancient Egypt are being built. As each layer of sand and stone is removed, the story of a forgotten pharaoh returns, piece by piece, inviting us to reconsider the complexities of legacy, the fragility of memory, and the enduring power of history inscribed in stone. The continuing revelations from this excavation contribute not only to our understanding of one king's reign, but also to the broader tapestry of Egyptian civilization, illuminating questions of leadership, succession, and the sacred nature of kingship. The journey into this tomb and the mysteries it holds bridges millennia, connecting the modern world to the ancient past in a profound exploration of identity and remembrance. Building directly from the intricate archaeological details revealed in the previous sections, the examination of the hieroglyphs scattered on the walls and fragments within the tomb of Thutmose II offers a compelling narrative that enhances our understanding of this enigmatic king's story. Unlike more famous pharaohs, whose inscriptions are lavish and abundant, the hieroglyphs in Thutmose II's tomb are deliberately incomplete or partially defaced, hinting at a purposeful attempt to obscure his memory. These erasures and alterations align with the theory of damnatio memoriae, the deliberate political strategy to erase a person's name and achievements from history. Evidence supports that powerful figures in the royal family, perhaps Queen Hatshepsut or later rulers, sought to rewrite the narrative around Thutmose II. By carefully analyzing the remaining hieroglyphic texts using advanced imaging techniques like hyperspectral scanning, Egyptologists have begun to piece together the fragmented stories meant to celebrate the king as a warrior, a builder, and a divine ruler. One of the most fascinating discoveries involves symbolic references to conflicts and victories, which were selectively preserved or erased. For example, references to military campaigns in Nubia, a crucial frontier during Thutmose II's reign, show signs of revision, possibly to downplay the king's role or to elevate a successor's achievements instead. These inscriptions not only provide a glimpse into the geopolitical challenges of the period, but also underscore the contested legacy of Thutmose II within the royal court. Further linguistic analysis has revealed differences in naming conventions and titles used for the pharaoh throughout the tomb, indicating shifts in how he was officially recognized during and after his lifetime. Variations in the spelling and epithet attached to his throne name may correlate to different political factions or religious reinterpretations that rose and fell in influence after his death. These nuances contribute to a richer, more complex portrait of a ruler whose historical record was shaped as much by politics as by his own deeds. Compounding the intrigue are signs of potential forgery or posthumous alteration in the inscriptions. Researchers have detected stylistic inconsistencies, with some hieroglyphs believed to have been added centuries later during the Ptolemaic period. Such insertions could reflect efforts by later historians or priests to recast Thutmose II's legacy or reconcile contradictory narratives found in older sources. If confirmed, these findings demonstrate how Thutmose II's image was continuously reinterpreted across Egypt, long history, highlighting the fluid nature of royal memory. The defaced texts do not only reveal political strife, they also intimate personal family dramas. Among the erased lines are likely references to Queen Hatshepsut herself, whose unprecedented reign as Egypt's female pharaoh remains controversial. Suppressing or modifying mentions of Thutmose II and his connection to Hatshepsut may have been a tactic to legitimize her position while marginalizing her husband's influence retrospectively. This interplay of power, gender, and memory underpins the Thutmose's fragmented linguistic heritage. Intriguingly, alongside political propaganda, the surviving hieroglyphs also contain deeply religious themes. They reference ritual practices, prayers for eternal life, and symbols ensuring protection from evil forces in the afterlife. These sacred texts adhere to the theological conventions of the New Kingdom and serve as a reminder that despite the turmoil surrounding his reign, Thutmose II was still regarded as a divine intermediary with the gods. These inscriptions, albeit fragmented, are instrumental in reconstructing lost histories and motivations behind tomb desecration and reconstruction events. The combination of meticulous archaeological excavation and cutting-edge analytical methods is uncovering narratives encoded in plaster and pigment, offering rare insight into how history was written, erased, and rewritten in ancient Egypt. As these linguistic revelations continue, they merge with other archaeological evidence to form a narrative mosaic. They clarify that the Thutmose's story is one of deliberate obscuration, survival, and ongoing reinterpretation. Each recovered hieroglyph piece is a vital clue in understanding how Thutmose II's reign was perceived and remembered across generations amid shifting political realities and religious ideologies. The fragmented hieroglyphic record invites further exploration not only of Thutmose II's reign, but also of the wider mechanisms of memory and history in ancient Egypt. It demonstrates the power of words and images forged in stone to shape legacies long after their creators have passed, making the tomb a crucial site for studying the relationship between power, religion, and historical narrative. Consequently, the hieroglyphic discoveries act as a bridge between tangible artifacts and the abstract domain of memory politics. They show us that archaeological remains and inscriptions are dynamic documents, living texts that reflect the complex interactions of history, religion, and authority. Through careful interpretation, Egyptologists gain unprecedented access to the quiet wars waged not on battlefields, but in the carved stone and fading pigments that preserve or obscure memory. As such, understanding these inscriptions is essential for completing the broader puzzle of Thutmose II's life, death, and the posthumous battles over his legacy. These etched remnants enrich all previous discoveries and motivate continuing efforts to decode the silent messages inscribed millennia ago, messages that speak volumes about ancient Egypt's intricate dance of power, devotion, and remembrance. Building directly from the carefully decoded hieroglyphs and the political intrigue that shaped the legacy of Thutmose II, the next phase of research delves into the ultimate mystery surrounding this king's remains, the whereabouts and nature of his actual mummy. The tomb itself, while containing precious inscriptions and certain funerary objects, lacked the king's sarcophagus and core burial equipment, sparking decades of speculation about whether his mummy lies elsewhere, hidden or displaced over time. The discovery of his tomb rekindled this enigma, raising new questions about the safety, politics, and ritual practices involving his final resting place. Historical records and archaeological discoveries indicate that the mummy of Thutmose II was unearthed long before the recent tomb discovery in the late 19th century, but it was found far from the original burial site. The royal cache, known as DB320, or the Deir el-Bahri Cachet, contained Thutmose II's mummy, alongside those of other New Kingdom rulers, relocated centuries earlier by priests seeking to shield royal mummies from rampant tomb robberies. This cache represented a mass reburial, with each mummy carefully wrapped and reinterred, though many had been stripped of valuables. Modern scientific examination of Thutmose III's mummy has yielded numerous insights, but also deeper puzzles. CT scans and DNA tests revealed anomalies. For example, the age of the mummy at death did not perfectly align with historical records, and physical injuries hinted at violence or disease that might have contributed to an early death. Additionally, some features of the mummy suggested possible tampering or misidentification, raising the possibility that the body might be of a prince or other royal family member rather than the king himself. These revelations have opened broader investigations into how the reburial and protection practices worked during periods of political instability and economic scarcity. The stripping and repurposing of precious metals and adornments from royal coffins were common as Egypt's rulers sought to reclaim resources, possibly explaining why Thutmose II's burial goods found in DB 320 were incomplete or damaged. This historical context helps explain why the tomb discovered in 2022 lacks key components. It was likely emptied as part of these protective measures. The ongoing search to locate a perfect or original tomb housing the intact remains of Thutmose II has gained momentum in recent years. Archaeologists hypothesize that the secondary burial site could lie underground, yet undiscovered, perhaps in the western wadis, where his newly found tomb resides. Advanced ground-penetrating radar and 3D scanning have identified anomalies hinting at hidden chambers, vaults, or crypts, possibly untouched for millennia. The search for these chambers is as much about scientific precision as it is about piecing together the ancient political landscape. Debates among Egyptologists abound about the identity of the mummy in DB 320. Some argue it is unquestionably Thutmose II based on cartouches and inscriptions, while others suggest political motivations may have led to a switch or mislabeling of remains during chaotic times. DNA testing of all mummies in the cachette is ongoing, and hopes are high that genetic links will clarify relationships within the royal family. Such breakthroughs would not only verify the identity of the mummies, but also shed light on the health, lineage, and familial dynamics of Egypt's 18th dynasty rulers. This medical and genetic detective work dovetails with archaeological and historical research, creating a multidisciplinary approach to understanding Thutmose II. For example, analysis of mummification styles, coffin types, and burial customs provides clues correlating with the political and religious contexts discerned from excavation sites and texts. Collectively, these studies highlight how ancient Egyptians intertwined spiritual practice with government authority. The mysteries surrounding Thutmose II's mummy underscore the unstable period during which he lived, a time marked by both internal power shifts and external military pressures. Relations with Nubia and other neighboring entities involved ongoing conflict and diplomacy. The physical condition of the mummy reflects these strains, possibly bearing the marks of injuries sustained in battle or illness contracted amidst such challenges. Interpreting these clues helps reconstruct the real-life struggles that African rulers endured, offering a human dimension behind royal iconography. Further complicating the search for Thutmose II's final resting place is the role of Queen Hatshepsut, who ascended to sole rulership after his death. Her reign brought significant architectural, religious, and political reforms, sometimes at odds with the legacy of her late husband. Inscriptions and monuments from Hatshepsut's period frequently omit or obscure references to Thutmose II, suggesting a conscious effort to control historical memory. This power dynamic influenced not only written records, but also affected how and where royal burials were maintained or altered. The intersection of royal politics and funerary customs reveals that the afterlife was a contested space, subject to earthly laws and ambitions. Tombs functioned not merely as final resting places, but as public affirmations of power and divine right. Any effort to alter or erase a predecessor Aisha's tomb or memory was a powerful political statement, directly impacting how future generations would view the monarchy. The tomb of Thutmose II, therefore, stands as a silent battlefield on which these struggles were enacted, long after the king's physical life had ended. As excavations progress, the anticipation of finding the missing relics and possibly the original mummy intensifies. Such a discovery would be monumental, providing closure to lingering historical questions while unlocking a wealth of information about burial rituals, royal health, and dynastic seniority. The integration of archaeological data with biotechnological methods exemplifies the direction of modern Egyptology, one that transcends pure excavation to embrace holistic understanding. Moreover, the search prompts reflection on broader themes of memory, legacy, and the preservation of history. It challenges us to consider how ancient societies managed identity and mortality, how rulers sought to control their posthumous reputation, and how political rivalry extended beyond death. Thutmose II's life and burial story illustrate the fragility of legacy and the effort required to sustain or extinguish remembrance. This ongoing journey into the last years of Thutmose II's life and beyond exemplifies the evolving dialogue between past and present. Each archaeological find, scientific test, and scholarly debate weaves a richer narrative fabric, bringing the hidden chapters of Egyptian history into sharper focus. The quest to locate and fully understand the pharaoh's burial is more than a technical feat. It is a quest to reconnect with humanity behind royal iconography. As the mystery unfolds, one truth remains clear. The story of Thutmose II is emblematic of the broader human experience of power, loss, and the enduring desire to be remembered. The search for his mummy links us across millennia, illuminating how history is not static, but continually rediscovered, reinterpreted, and renewed through the dedication of those who seek to illuminate the silent voices of the past. Following the detailed investigations into the physical remains and the intriguing inscriptions associated with Thutmose II, modern science has turned to genetics and advanced imaging to finally explore the king's biological legacy. DNA tests, although challenging due to the degradation inherent in mummified remains, have become a powerful tool to clarify uncertainties surrounding the identities of ancient Egyptian royals, including Thutmose II. The mummy believed to be Thutmose II was first found in the royal cache known as DB 320 in Deir el-Bahri, alongside the remains of several other prominent pharaohs. This cache was a refuge to protect royal mummies during times of instability and rampant tomb robbing. Over the last 2 decades, scientists have applied a variety of techniques to analyze these remains. Through DNA sequencing, CT scans, and radiographic imaging, Egyptologists and geneticists hope to confirm identities, decipher familial relationships, and understand health conditions that affected these royal individuals. One of the core challenges has been the quality and preservation of DNA material. The mummification process itself, combined with thousands of years in harsh desert environments, naturally deteriorates genetic material. Despite this, breakthroughs in ancient DNA recovery methods have allowed extraction of partial genomes and mitochondrial DNA from several New Kingdom mummies, including those tentatively identified as Thutmose II and his immediate family. These genetic analyses have provided confirming evidence linking Thutmose II to the 18th Dynasty royal lineage. By comparing genetic markers, researchers have been able to reconstruct family trees, verifying his relations to Pharaoh Amenhotep III, Queen Taye, and notably Queen Hatshepsut, his wife. Such findings reinforce archaeological theories regarding the intricate dynastic succession and household politics that influenced the era's history. However, the tests have also revealed discrepancies. Certain anatomical features and damage patterns on the mummy suggested possible trauma or illness, which align with theories of an early death or violence. In addition, some mitochondrial DNA sequences have indicated potential contamination or mix-ups during reburial processes in antiquity or in modern excavation practices, leading to ongoing debates about whether the mummy currently attributed to Thutmose II is indeed his. Adding complexity is the fact that many results from DNA testing have not been fully published or remain confidential within Egyptian antiquities authorities, fostering some speculation in the academic community. Reasons cited include concerns about national heritage, scientific accuracy, and political sensitivities surrounding royal lineage. This opacity has somewhat limited external validation, but has not hindered collaborative research that continues to advance. Complementary to DNA studies, cutting-edge forensic imaging has played a crucial role. CT scans reveal internal body structures, detect bone fractures, health conditions such as arthritis or infections, and provide insight into mummification methods used. In Thutmose II's case, the scans revealed evidence of post-mortem modifications, possibly reflecting attempts to repair damage or conceal injuries, further complicating definitive identification. Beyond biological data, the study of burial artifacts, coffin decorations, and funerary rites captured through inscriptions enrich the understanding of how identity and memory were preserved or altered. The juxtaposition of science and archaeology highlights the tension between preserving physical remains and interpreting symbolic meanings embedded in burial customs. Thutmose II's mummified remains, therefore, remain central not only to natural history, but also to an evolving narrative of cultural memory and political power. Efforts to resolve these mysteries continue, with plans for more comprehensive DNA testing, using improved techniques that reduce contamination risks and increase genome recovery. Collaborative projects involving Egyptian institutions and international experts underline the commitment to uncovering a fuller picture of this enigmatic figure. The integration of biochemical data with archaeological context promises to open new vistas into the life, death, and afterlife of Thutmose II. These scientific undertakings underscore the broader implications for Egyptology. They highlight how ancient remains serve as biological witnesses to historical events, social structures, and personal stories from millennia ago. They challenge assumptions and invite a reassessment of how identity and legacy were constructed and maintained in ancient royal courts. The lessons learned from Thutmose II's DNA and mummy analyses set important precedents for future studies. They demonstrate the need for multidisciplinary approaches combining genetics, forensic science, archaeology, and history to navigate the complexities of ancient remains. The pursuit of truth about Thutmose II is thus emblematic of modern archaeology as potential to connect the past with the present, enriching our knowledge of both. In closing, the pursuit of Thutmose II's biological and historical identity remains a dynamic and unfolding journey. Each scientific advance brings new questions and opportunities, allowing the silent relics of Egypt's grand past to speak with increasing clarity. This work not only honors the memory of an ancient king once lost to obscurity, but also celebrates the enduring human quest to comprehend our shared heritage. Building seamlessly on the profound revelations surrounding Thutmose II's identity and the biological mysteries contained within his mummified remains, the story now takes a pivotal turn towards the cutting-edge technological efforts to uncover hidden chambers that may hold further secrets. These efforts focus on revolutionary scanning techniques, heralding a new era in archaeology where the invisible can be seen and the lost can be sought without disturbing the fragile sanctity of the ancient burial sites. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, among other advanced methodologies such as muon tomography and LiDAR mapping, has played an instrumental role in mapping the subterranean landscape of the Theban necropolis. The use of these non-invasive tools has allowed archaeologists to detect anomalies beneath the desert surface, voids, chambers, tunnels that traditional excavation methods would have struggled to reveal. Crucially, the application of these techniques around the vicinity of Thutmose II's tomb has indicated the presence of at least one previously unknown chamber, sparking hopes for discoveries that may finally house the more complete funerary assemblage, or even the King's untouched mummy. The early results from GPR spectroscopy unveiled a complex sequence of underground cavities, some showing unmistakable signs of human construction and strategic placement, possibly intended for secondary tombs or storage of valuable grave goods. These sensors work by emitting radar pulses into the ground and analyzing the reflected signals, which vary according to the different materials and void spaces they encounter. When these signals suggested a hidden chamber behind thick stone walls just beyond the known tomb, it galvanized the excavation team, setting the stage for an exploration of unprecedented precision and caution. Muon tomography, a more recent innovation, uses cosmic ray muons, a form of naturally occurring particles that can penetrate dense materials to create 3D images of underground voids. This technique, famously applied to scan the Great Pyramid of Giza for hidden passages, has been deployed in the search surrounding Thutmose II's tomb, with expectations of identifying voids that cannot be detected by standard radar alone. Muon tomography complements GPR by providing more detailed density maps that distinguish between solid rock and air-filled spaces, invaluable in locating concealed burial chambers or tunnels carefully sealed for millennia. LiDAR mapping, employing laser pulses from airborne platforms, adds another layer of environmental and topographic data. By generating highly accurate surface models, LiDAR assists in understanding the broader landscape context, how pathways, water erosion patterns, rock formations, and human constructions interact. Such information is crucial in hypothesizing the ancient builders' strategies that might have factored into the tomb's unusual placement near a natural waterfall and the resulting flood damage. Combining these methods has allowed experts to build a multispectral, multidimensional replica of Thutmose II's burial environment. The data integration provides a roadmap for targeted excavation, minimizing risk to the fragile tomb structure while maximizing the chance of meaningful discovery. The involved teams, including Egyptian authorities and international specialists, have embraced this technological synergy as the future of archaeological inquiry. The discovery of a sealed chamber within these scans carries a profound implication. It could be the final resting place containing the King's original burial goods, which have long been presumed missing or hidden. If accessed without compromising the tomb's integrity, this chamber could reveal artifacts untouched for over 3,400 years, royal scarabs, jewelry, canopic jars, and possibly the sarcophagus, shedding light on funerary customs and further clarifying Thutmose II's reign. The strategic decision to keep these chambers carefully concealed through ancient sealing methods, stone blocking, mud bricks, and protective inscriptions reflects the ancient Egyptians' understanding of the tomb's vulnerability. These precautions speak to the political and spiritual significance attributed to the King's burial. The tomb was more than a resting place. It was a bastion against physical and metaphysical threats, designed to ensure Thutmose II's eternal life in the afterworld. However, the discovery also raises crucial conservation questions. Any intervention to explore these newly found chambers must reconcile the desire for knowledge with the responsibility for preservation. The team contemplates the delicate balance between unsealing ancient secrets and safeguarding them against modern environmental factors, dust, humidity, and human-induced vibrations that could accelerate deterioration. Conservationists have devised masks, climate regulation tools, and other protective measures to maintain the tomb's microclimate during potential exploration. Beyond the physical, these discoveries resonate culturally and politically. The involvement of local communities, government authorities, and international scholars in the planning and excavation ensures that the pursuit of knowledge respects Egypt as heritage and sovereignty. It fosters dialogue about the ethical stewardship of antiquities and the collective human responsibility to protect and learn from the past. Moreover, this phase of research emphasizes the evolving nature of archaeological practice. The deployment of non-destructive technology symbolizes a shift that favors preservation alongside discovery, marrying the ancient world's mystery with modern science's rigor. This approach reveals how archaeology is no longer confined to digging, but involves remote sensing, computer modeling, and interdisciplinary collaboration. The anticipation surrounding the potential opening of these sealed chambers has captivated scholars and the public alike. The hope is that these spaces will finally answer lingering questions about the extent of Thutmose II's burial complex, the fate of his funerary assemblage, and the full scope of historical manipulations that may have altered the tomb's story. Should these chambers bear inscriptions, artifacts, or remains, they may rewrite our understanding of the political history surrounding his reign. They could verify theories of intentional displacement of burial goods for protection against tomb robbers, or political erasure, offering concrete evidence of the intersection between power struggles and sacred funerary practices. As technology advances, the excavation strategy remains patient and methodical, knowing that each centimeter uncovered is part of a much larger historical puzzle. The team balances excitement with caution, understanding that the integrity of the tomb and its remains is paramount. With every new scan, each layer of sediment analyzed, and every stone examined, the story of Thutmose II, once considered lost, grows clearer. The use of these advanced technologies underlines a broader transformation in how humanity relates to its past. It demonstrates respect for ancient cultures, sophisticated funerary traditions, and acknowledges the complexity of preserving historical sites in a 21st century context. In sum, this chapter in Thutmose II's story highlights not only the tangible remains buried beneath the sands, but also the intangible heritage revealed through innovation and respect. The evolving narrative, supported by state-of-the-art scanning and careful excavation, promises to bring us closer to the original glory of a forgotten king, ensuring that his legacy endures through discoveries yet to come. This ongoing technological journey has united the ancient past with the present, carving a path forward where curiosity meets care. It is a testament to human determination and ingenuity, reflecting our timeless quest to uncover history's deepest secrets without erasing them in the process. As the search continues, these chambers hold the potential to change everything we know, not just about Thutmose II, but about the culture, politics, and artistry of ancient Egypt. Every pulse of radar and beam of laser illuminates a path leading us back in time, inviting us to step closer to the profound mysteries that await beneath the desert floor. Following the intricate archaeological findings and scientific insights that progressively unveiled the enigma of Thutmose II's tomb and legacy, the narrative now turns towards exploring a compelling theory that could explain the unusual fate of this pharaoh's burial. The possibility that his tomb was intentionally emptied and that his remains and valuables were relocated for protection. This theory is supported by clear traces of flooding damage and the deliberate removal of burial items, signaling a story not only of nature's wrath, but also of human intervention dictated by political and spiritual concerns. The tomb's geographical location under a natural waterfall was both a blessing and a curse. While the Egyptians might have chosen this spot for symbolic reasons, water often signifying purification and rebirth, it also rendered the tomb vulnerable to periodic flooding. Archaeological evidence demonstrates that shortly after Thutmose II's burial, floodwaters penetrated deep into the tomb's corridors, washing away fragile wall decorations and carrying out invaluable objects. This natural disaster likely forced ancient priests charged with the care of the royal dead to take drastic measures to salvage whatever they could. The deliberate clearing of the tomb following the flood damage is corroborated by the absence of significant grave goods and the presence of displaced artifacts found scattered around or in nearby secondary burial sites. These actions might have been motivated by a desire to protect the king, S remains from either further environmental damage or threats posed by tomb robbers, whose activity intensified during the later Nile Valley destabilization periods. Historical precedent shows that the reburial of royal mummies was a common practice during turbulent times. The priests would transport the bodies and funerary equipment to safer locations, often secret caches like DB 320, where Thutmose II's mummy was eventually found in the late 19th century. This cache contained not just his remains, but those of numerous other members of the 18th dynasty, highlighting a systematic approach to preserving royal burial heritage amidst external threats. Yet, debates continue around the timing and the agents behind the tomb S emptying. Some historians propose it was the work of royal officials under Queen Hatshepsut's reign, or even later rulers who sought to control the legacy of past kings by relocating tomb contents. The erasure or marginalization of Thutmose II's memory through damnatio memoriae aligns with such political motives, the actions reflecting both reverence for the dead and political pragmatism, making the relocation an act of preservation and power. Archaeological surveys around the known tomb have identified likely sites of secondary burials and hoards, suggesting multiple phases of reburial activities over the centuries. Such complex histories complicate the task of piecing together a definitive narrative, but also enrich it, illustrating how Egyptian burial customs adapted to changing circumstances. The tomb S flooding and clearance also provide insights into ancient Egyptian attitudes toward death and resurrection. In the face of natural disasters, priests and officials were willing to alter traditional funerary practices to ensure the king's safe passage to the afterlife. This flexibility within ritual demonstrates a dynamic relationship between religion and reality, where survival of the spirit was paramount over rigid adherence to burial location or original tomb condition. In modern times, the relocation of royal mummies has preserved invaluable historical data. Scientific studies of these relocated remains, including DNA testing and forensic analysis, provide new dimensions to understanding physical health, lineage, and mortality of Egypt's ancient rulers. These analyses would not be possible without the protective yet disruptive practice of reburial. Despite the clear necessity and benefit of moving royal remains, the mystery remains whether all migratory movements were recorded or if some were clandestine, intended to obscure political truths. The discovery of the tomb and ongoing research strive to uncover hidden chambers or associated caches potentially untouched since antiquity, which may reveal further secrets. The case of Thutmose II exemplifies this complex interplay of nature, politics, religion, and archaeology, where every artifact and architectural feature tells a story beyond mere burial. Each element from flood debris composition to artifact placement offers clues to reconstructing the socio-political events following the pharaoh's death. As scholars continue their meticulous work, their findings not only shed light on the fate of one tomb, but also contribute broadly to Egyptology, illustrating how rulers managed death amid crisis. They demonstrate the ancient Egyptians' profound respect for ancestors and the lengths taken to protect royal legacies despite external pressures. This phase in the narrative highlights the importance of viewing archaeological discoveries not in isolation, but as parts of continuous historical processes involving human agency and environmental forces. The evolving story of Thutmose II's tomb is a testament to resilience and adaptation, offering lessons on cultural survival through the ages. It invites us to reconsider long-held assumptions about permanence and vulnerability, illuminating how history is preserved not just in stones, but through actions, decisions, and the complex interweaving of memory, myth, and reality. These insights open pathways to new research priorities, focusing on the interplay of environmental change, political agendas, and ritual practices in ancient Egypt. In conclusion, the story of the relocation and emptying of Thutmose II's tomb deepens the enigmatic legacy of this forgotten pharaoh. It reveals a civilization negotiating its sacred traditions amidst changing times and offers us a window into ancient resilience, respect, and political savvy. As excavations proceed and technology advances, the layers of history continue to unfold, promising further revelations about the life, death, and memory of King Thutmose II. Building seamlessly from the intricate narrative unveiled in the previous chapters, the story of Thutmose II culminates in a visionary look at the ongoing and future excavations, bringing together the archaeological, technological, and historical threads spun throughout this journey. The discovery of his tomb, long thought lost beneath the sands for over 3 millennia, marked a monumental moment not only for Egyptology, but also for our understanding of the political and cultural dynamics of the New Kingdom, S18th Dynasty. This final chapter explores the promising directions for research, the ambitions for further discoveries, and the lasting impact of this breakthrough on both scholarship and heritage preservation. The archaeological expedition, having already uncovered the Tomb AS entrance, main corridor, and burial chamber, has only scratched the surface of what is possible. Despite the Tomb AS significant damage, particularly due to flooding shortly after Thutmose II's interment, the finding of blue-painted ceilings adorned with yellow stars, inscriptions of the sacred Amduat text, and alabaster vessels bearing royal names illustrates the tomb's original grandeur and ritual significance. The fragments found suggest that the burial complex once rivaled those of other great pharaohs, pointing to its central role in the spiritual beliefs and funerary customs of the time. Moreover, the discovery reinforces historical reconstructions of Thutmose II's reign and its complex relationship with Queen Hatshepsut. Her role in overseeing his burial emphasizes her influence even before she ascended as sole ruler, offering new interpretations of dynastic power, succession, and the socio-political environment during their reign. Ongoing excavations continue to explore remaining branches of the tomb and nearby sites, guided by technological advancements like ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR, and muon tomography, which promise to reveal hidden chambers that may yet preserve undisturbed artifacts or consignments that explain the tomb's apparent emptiness. This evolving research provides a lens into ancient Egyptian responses to environmental challenges and political upheavals. The flooding not only physically damaged the tomb, but likely catalyzed changes in funerary practices and the relocation of burial goods, a testament to the adaptiveness of Egyptian priests and officials in safeguarding royal legacy. These pragmatic actions also intersect with the political dimensions, such as the possible erasure or reduction of Thutmose II's memory in favor of Hatshepsut's or Thutmose III's reigns. Looking forward, ambitious excavation timetables balance scientific inquiry with conservation ethics. Ensuring the tomb's preservation amid continued study is paramount, with climate control, structural stabilization, and non-invasive technologies becoming standard. Such care secures this precious heritage for future generations, while still allowing for the unfolding of stories buried for centuries. The significance of Thutmose II's tomb extends beyond its bricks and pigments. It reshapes narratives of New Kingdom power dynamics and provides key insights into ancient funerary symbolism, royal identity, and the cultural memory mechanisms employed by Egypt's elites. This discovery challenges the notion of a forgotten king, restoring voice and presence to a ruler who for too long lived in historical shadows. Collaboration between Egyptian authorities and international institutions underscores a global commitment to heritage stewardship, educational outreach, and cultural tourism. These partnerships enhance local capacity, promote ethical practices, and inspire worldwide audiences with stories of discovery, resilience, and human creativity. The final narrative threads combine history, technology, and storytelling, inviting us to reconsider what it means to conserve and connect with the past. Thutmose II's tomb embodies the complexity of this endeavor, mysterious, fragile, and rich with untold secrets. It stands as a symbol of enduring inquiry, reminding us that every artifact carries layers of meaning shaped by millennia of human hands and minds. As new evidence is uncovered, the tale of Thutmose II will continue to captivate scholars and enthusiasts alike. The presence of a possible second tomb, the interpretation of inscriptions, and the secrets hidden beneath layers of soil all promise further revelations that could transform our understanding of Egyptian history. In this grand mosaic, Thutmose II emerges not simply as a pharaoh buried under sand, but as a pivotal figure whose life, death, and rediscovery illuminate the intricacies of power, memory, and legacy in one of history's greatest civilizations. Every shard and inscription, every shadowed chamber re-examined, adds to a story spanning thousands of years, bridging ancient ambitions with modern quests for knowledge. The saga of Thutmose II is far from concluded. With each careful brushstroke, each layer of dirt moved aside, we come closer to comprehending the rich tapestry of Egypt's past. His tomb is not merely a relic, but a living dialogue between the ages, a testament to the enduring desire to remember, honor, and understand the kings who helped shape civilization itself. Thus, the discovery of Thutmose II's tomb is more than an archaeological achievement. It is a profound narrative that echoes through time, reminding us that history is a living, evolving force. It speaks to the resilience of culture, the power of remembrance, and the eternal human drive to discover the unknown. The journey back through time, launched by this monumental find, beckons us to listen, learn, and marvel at the intricate beauty of a past that continues to reveal its secrets. Thutmose II, once nearly forgotten, now stands illuminated by the brilliance of modern science and the dedication of those who seek his story. This story, still unfolding, invites us all to witness the profound connections between history, identity, and memory that define the